Good evening. I'm Deborah Wynn Smith, the President and CEO of the U.S. Council on Competitiveness and the President of the Global Federation of Competitiveness Councils. And it's my great honor to be here with you all tonight for this evening as we gather in Pittsburgh for the launch of our path-breaking gathering, Forging the Future, the intersection of health, AI, and tech. Tonight marks the beginning of a truly pioneering summit exploring the interplay between health, artificial intelligence, and technology. Over the coming days, our deliberations will, among world leaders and leaders here in Pittsburgh and this region, will uncover best and next practices and elucidate the emerging, evolving force in economic development that we refer to as place-making innovation, at the frontiers and convergence of technology's greatest revolutions that are rewriting the world and also creating the drivers for future economic growth, national security, human prosperity, and potential. Our goal in this gathering, like many others that have taken place across the United States over the past 2 years, is to leverage our conversations and combine intellect and experiences to change not only our collective understanding of regional innovation ecosystems, but most importantly, to transform and elevate the tools and toolkit at our disposal to shape, yes, regional policy, but also, importantly, national policy so that we can transform our ability to act in this age of incredible disruption and discontinuity. So first, allow me to extend my deepest gratitude to our host, Chancellor Joan Gabel, who has made this gathering possible here at the famous Cathedral of the University of Pittsburgh. And all of us have been absolutely overwhelmed by the beauty and the symbolism and the splendor of this Cathedral to Learning that was established in 1937. In addition to her leadership role as Chancellor of the University of Pittsburgh, Joan is the academic vice chair on the board of the Council on Competitiveness and also the co-chair of our flagship policy initiative, the National Commission on Innovation and Competitiveness Frontiers. Chancellor Gabel, the 19th Chancellor and the first woman to lead the University of Pittsburgh, is a member also of the Global Federation of Competitiveness Councils. I would also like to thank and acknowledge President Farnan Jahanian of Carnegie Mellon University for his leadership and partnership for the Forging the Future National Competitiveness Conversation, and also recognize his longstanding leadership in the Council on Competitiveness. Farnan is a member of the Executive Committee and also co-chaired the Council's very important early work on cybersecurity under the auspices of our then flagship U.S. Manufacturing Competitiveness Partnerships, and clearly has followed in a lead of illustrious presidents at CMU, including Dr. Jerry Cohen, who passed away not too long ago, but led very important work at the Council way ahead of the curve in looking at enterprise resiliency and how security and competitiveness could drive productivity. And Dr. Cohen did that in partnership with our chair at the time, Chad Holliday, the CEO and chair of DuPont, who's chairman emeritus of the Council and chair of the Global Federation of Competitiveness Council. So I want to recognize and thank Chad Holliday as well for his tremendous leadership and support. And today, in our meeting, he clearly brought home all the things we need to address in the agenda going forward. Over the years, the Council on Competitiveness, from its inception back in 1986, at a time also of great turbulence and transformation, has worked with many partners around the world to bring forth the competitiveness framework as the operative policy organizational structure for addressing complex issues, whether it's tax policy, regulation, trade, investment in R&D, workforce skills, into a systemic whole as a way to build the policy agendas and implement them for future growth and security. And a lot of our work to do this really stemmed from our groundbreaking seminal report back in 2004, Innovate America, which unleashed the floodgates of interest all around the world for other nations to create their counterpart, innovate in their specific country. And so it was one day in the summer, actually, of 2020 that I suggested to Chad Holliday, who was our chair, that maybe we should think of inviting leaders around the world having competitiveness councils, as well as other government entities focused on competitiveness, to try a little innovation experiment, as it were, to come to Washington and talk about how we might collaborate together. And sure enough, we were successful. And Steve Knapp, you're here tonight, the former President Emeritus of George Washington University. You may not remember this, but you hosted us at the annual dinner at George Washington when leaders came from around the world, and we launched the concept and the idea of the Global Federation of Competitiveness Councils. So I was so thrilled to see you tonight and know you're leading now the museums here in Pittsburgh. But I want to thank you for the leadership on GFCC. So we all co-created the idea of establishing this organization of leaders, a leadership network to exchange best practices, share strategies, and learn from one another. And not to be drawn into what was going on at the time, this zero-sum game of ranking nations based on obsolete, backward-looking data, uneven, non-transparent statistical data, and trying to compare things that were really apples and oranges to say who was the most competitive nation in the world. We focused on what are the things we need to learn and understand and do together to make our countries more competitive. And so today, the GFCC, and I want to thank and recognize everybody who's come from around the world to be with us for our meeting today and the conference. And maybe all of you could just raise your hand for those in the room who can see our great group of leaders from around the world who are with us today and tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us. But today our membership spans universities, corporations, competitiveness councils, economic development organizations, and government innovation agencies and leaders. And tonight is a very special night because this is the first ever case where the GFCC has teamed with the Council to combine two flagship events, our National Competitiveness Conversation Across America and our Global Innovation Summit. So over the next 2 days, we'll have leaders from Pittsburgh, this region, some from the country of the United States, but leaders from around the world participating in these discussions. I want to just briefly tell you that the U.S. Council's Competitiveness Conversations Across America are really a very exciting initiative for us. They comprise high-level, multi-stakeholder, local, state, and regional gatherings under the auspices of our National Commission on Innovation and Competitiveness Frontiers. The questions are very profound but simple. How do we dramatically expand the geography of innovation while simultaneously deepening and broadening the demography of innovation? We need more Americans in every corner of our society engaged and connected to our innovation-driven economy. How can we set the pace in the innovation game if we as a nation are leaving 2/3 or more of our nation off the innovation playing field? And so to solve these challenges, we have to explore and engage with the entire country, uncovering, highlighting, developing, elevating, and deploying the best and next innovation practices in the most strategic and intentional way possible, true place-making innovation. Our council leadership understood very quickly we needed more talk, more debate, more solutions, and more action. And so these conversations over the last 18 months have taken us to nearly 10 different regions in the country and builds, interestingly, it's kind of a back to the future story because it goes back to the Council's seminal clusters of innovation work we launched in the 1990s. In fact, it was back in the 1990s we explored 5 emergent clusters of innovation to really begin what became almost a cottage innovation cluster study network around the world. And it started actually in San Diego, in Wichita, Research Triangle Park, Atlanta, and guess where? Pittsburgh, under the leadership of Dr. Jerry Cohen. So coming back now after this period of time to witness what's going on in this area is very, very exciting indeed. But we're talking about an action-driven model built upon research, yes, but focused on action and doing things new and different to change the trajectory of the future. We have been in Davis, California, the Nashville, Knoxville, Chattanooga, Memphis Quad, Boise, Idaho, the Indiana, Illinois Innovation Corridor, San Antonio, Texas, the Mountain West Innovation Highway connecting Wyoming and Colorado, Santa Fe, New Mexico, and the greater New England area. And next year we'll continue another group. So today and tomorrow and the next day will be our penultimate national conversation here in Pittsburgh for 2025. So let me also say that last year, when we held the GFCC in Belfast and Birmingham, and I want to recognize and thank Sir Ian Greer, the Vice Chancellor of Queen's University, Vice Chancellor of Aston University, Alex Subich, and the CEO, Paul Maiden, of the Center for Competitiveness Council. We started the placemaking innovation imperative for the GFCC. Last year, it was under the theme, Accelerating Global Sustainability and Economic Inclusions. And again, we'll build on that work as we frame the agenda that's underway for tomorrow with the University of Pittsburgh and Carnegie Mellon as our partners. So let me just, before I turn the podium over to Dr. Farnan Jahanian, the president of Carnegie Mellon University, mention a few things about this great center of innovation in the United States and globally. The University of Pittsburgh generated over $6.6 billion in economic impact for Pennsylvania in fiscal year 2023 and has been recognized nationally as an innovation and economic prosperity university. With more than $1 billion in annual R&D spending, Pitt ranks 16th nationally for research performance and 12th in federal R&D expenditures. Its research enterprise supports tens of thousands of jobs, spins out new ventures, brings new therapies, discoveries, and technologies to the world. Carnegie Mellon University is the top-ranked university in the nation for AI programs and a global icon for technology, engineering, and innovation, producing scientific breakthroughs that have reshaped industries worldwide. Its annual economic impact exceeds $3 billion in Pennsylvania, and through centers like the National Robotics Engineering Center, CMU has become a powerhouse for translating research into new industries, companies, and opportunities. And together, the University of Pittsburgh and CMU form the backbone of the region's research investment landscape. And I was very interested to hear tonight from Dr. Jahanian that many of the startups in this area are really comprising faculty from both universities who've worked together and now are coming together to create the spin-offs and the new entrepreneurial ventures that are moving into global enterprises. So robust R&D spending is really fueling a profound transformation in AI and the life sciences and the convergence in other high-tech fields. The patent output alone provides a steady pipeline of VC-backed startups, strengthening the growing healthcare and AI ecosystem here. So it's very meaningful that tonight we gather on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh in this magnificent cathedral of learning. And this building, of course, is a testament to bold vision. To erect such a structure over almost a century ago was to affirm powerfully that knowledge matters, that learning matters, that discovery and creation are the lifeblood of progress, and also, as many of us who visited the nationality rooms, that immigrants and people who came to the United States searching for the American dream have always been part of our innovation journey, and we want to continue that going for many, many years into the future. It's an extraordinary building in an extraordinary city. Pittsburgh has reinvented itself time and again, demonstrating resiliency, creativity, and a determination to forge the future. Forge the Future was very carefully chosen by our colleagues at Pitt for the title of this wonderful summit we're launching tonight and tomorrow. In the 19th century, Pittsburgh's furnaces pioneered new methods of steel making. In fact, Chad Holliday said in our meeting today, we should talk about steel innovation. Chad, that's something that we will keep in our memory now of GFCC important concepts. The Lucy furnace, for example, shattered records in the 1970s by producing over 100 tons of iron in a single day, proof that science, engineering, and management could transform industrial productivity. Later, the Edgar Thomson Works introduced the Bessemer process to the United States, enabling steel rails that carried a nation westward, the ships and planes that saved a world from the terrors of World War II, and the skyscrapers that now grace the landscapes of cities around the world. And even in the mid-20th century, as Pittsburgh confronted pollution and industrial decline, its civic leaders launched bold renewal efforts, the Pittsburgh Renaissance, cleaning the air, reclaiming riverfronts, and laying the groundwork for this knowledge-based economy that is ever evolving. The hot metal bridge, once used to carry molten iron across the Monongahela River, now connects redeveloped innovation hubs, a living symbol of Pittsburgh's journey from steel to science, from smoke to innovation. This heritage gives powerful meaning to our theme, Forge the Future, the intersection of health, AI, and technology. So why are we discussing these issues over the next few days? First, because the absence of health drains productivity and competitiveness, while healthy societies unleash human potential and economic growth. And as humans caring about humanity, we do want to be healthy. We want our neighbors to be healthy. We want our partners and friends around the world to be healthy. Second, because health technologies are not just tools for well-being, they are a frontier for new industries, new value creation, and future prosperity. And third, because here in Pittsburgh, investments in health innovation and AI are transforming the local economy and shaping models of renewal that resonate across cities worldwide. So let me thank you again for coming, for being with us today, tomorrow, and Tuesday. And it's my great honor and privilege to introduce our other partner and host tonight, Dr. Farnan Jahanian. Thank you, Farnan, for your tremendous leadership in the nation. I know you hosted a major summit here on AI and energy with President Trump and the new administration, and are recognized around the world for your vision, leadership, and yes, getting things done that are important. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's so good to be with you, and thank you, Deborah, for your kind words. And let me echo Deborah's warm welcome to our guests tonight as we prepare to kick off the Forging the Future Summit tomorrow. So good to see so many old friends, and also make friends with so many of you who've traveled from around the world to be here. Thank you and welcome to Pittsburgh. I want to begin by thanking the conveners of the summit, the Council on Competitiveness, of course, led by Deborah, and the Global Federation of Competitive Councils, led by Chad Holliday. Please join me in thanking Deborah, Chad, and everybody who's contributed to the work of the Council over the years. I also want to recognize our friends and partners at the University of Pittsburgh. We were in fact talking about this over dinner tonight, that how deeply integrated Carnegie Mellon and University of Pittsburgh are, and how we work together so seamlessly. And that happened long before I became president and long before Joan became chancellor. This is very much part of the culture of our city, and I'll say a few words about that. But I do want to recognize our friends and partners at the University of Pittsburgh, of course, led by Chancellor Joan Gable, whom I'll introduce in just a moment. Again, thank you to the folks at the University of Pittsburgh who've done all the heavy lifting to organize the event. Thank you for doing this. I'm going to be relatively brief this evening, partially because I'm going to have an opportunity to welcome you all again tomorrow morning. But, you know, I just want to say a few words about Pittsburgh in particular. This event signals the incredible value of place-based economic development, as Deborah alluded to, and the transformative role of innovation ecosystems as engines for economic growth and societal well-being regionally, nationally, and of course globally. And the fact that this summit is being held here in Pittsburgh is such a fitting tribute to the theme of this summit. This city, of course, is known for many things. Our sports teams, our bridges, more than 400 bridges all over this town. We're the birthplace of some beloved American staples, such as Heinz ketchup, the smiley emoji that came out of Carnegie Mellon, Andy Warhol, who, of course, we have the Warhol Museum as part of the Carnegie family of museums, who went to Carnegie Mellon, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and birthplace of AI, and the list goes on. But above all of it, Pittsburgh is the model of economic reinvention. During the 20th century, manufacturing was transforming the global economy. And this region was the region that built America, an industrial powerhouse producing 1/3 of the nation's steel. And actually, during World War II, a significant fraction of the nation's steel. As Deborah mentioned, when the steel industry collapsed in the late 70s and the early 80s, the economy in this region was devastated. Unemployment soared. But the renaissance of Pittsburgh didn't happen overnight. It took this region 2 decades to reimagine itself and transform into the global center of innovation that it is today. What's probably most important here is that this transformation would not have been possible. It was powered by the unique alignment of private and public sector with our academic institutions and civic organizations. I know everybody says this, but there's something truly unique. I'm not a Pittsburgher, so I say this with a great deal of pride, that there is something really unique how the public and the private sector work together, how universities work together, how foundation leaders are part of this community. And that, more than any other reason, based on my analysis, has been the reason for the transformation and renaissance of Pittsburgh. Today, we're a city of eds, meds, and emerging tech, whose impact is amplified by the research and talent of our academic institutions, including, of course, the University of Pittsburgh and Carnegie Mellon University. 2 institutions that play a vital role, or a pivotal role, I should say, in catalyzing and supporting our innovation economy. I want to say just a couple of words about the event tomorrow, but I'll elaborate on it tomorrow morning in my welcome address to all of you. Once again, this region is finding itself at the nexus of another profound societal change. Artificial intelligence has emerged as perhaps the single most consequential technological development of our time, reshaping industries, markets, economies, and of course, even the nature of the discovery itself. Nowhere in that transformation is probably more profound than in healthcare and life sciences. And this convergence of AI, data science, and biotechnology is already redefining how we detect disease, deliver care, move from treatment to prevention. I have many of my colleagues from UPMC and University of Pittsburgh who are here. They're the experts. I'm not the experts. They can tell you much more about it over the next couple of days. But the truth is that AI powered drug discovery that we're doing at Carnegie Mellon today, and biomarker development, genomics and RNA-based therapies, real-time health monitoring and telehealth diagnosis that extends care beyond hospitals and into home, and the list goes on and on. But the most important thing here is that beyond the economic measures, the wellspring of dividends to humanity and potential impact of it on our individual and collective well-being are truly immeasurable. And that's the reason we're here. That's the reason we're going to have this conversation over the next couple of days, hopefully to bring all of these amazing thought leaders from around the world to talk about some of these really, really important issues. This gathering is above all a celebration of the power of place. With that, and against this backdrop, it's my pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague, Chancellor Joan Gable. She is, as you know, the Chancellor of the University of Pittsburgh, leads a community of more than 34,000 students and 16,000 faculty, researchers, and staff across 5 campuses. She joined here just a few years ago after I joined, but she brings decades of leadership and academic experience to her role at Pitt, and during her time, her strategic plan has delivered growth in a number of areas, including enrollment, post-graduation placement, research expenditure, invention disclosures, and of course, industry partnerships. Would you please join me in extending a warm welcome to Joan as she takes the podium. Joan, it's all yours.
Let's give Farnham and all of our colleagues at Carnegie Mellon a round of applause, please. Wonderful partners. So, on behalf of the University of Pittsburgh, welcome to the Cathedral of Learning. And thank you for coming. Thanks, of course, to our partners at GFCC and the Council on Competitiveness and Carnegie Mellon, and to our sponsors, of course, who've made this entire event possible. Many of you have traveled quite far to be with us tonight, and some of you came from your office upstairs or around the corner in order to join us. We're so pleased you're all here in this very special place. So I cannot possibly top either Deborah or Farnham in talking about Pittsburgh, but I'll tell you a little bit about where we are right now. So we're in the tallest educational structure in the Western Hemisphere, standing 42 stories tall, 535 feet high. You'll have to use AI to decide what that is in the metric system, since I don't know. But it was carved out of steel and limestone, local materials, and this building was designed to express, and I'm quoting here, a spirit of achievement with such force of sublimity that the whole world would understand. So for nearly a century, it's not only lived up to that spirit, but on really important occasions like our distinct honor of hosting all of you here tonight, and definitely on global stages, it's really amplified that spirit of achievement. It's a spirit and legacy that will mark actually next fall when this building turns 100, or when the groundbreaking occurred 100 years ago. But where you are right now, we call the Commons Room, and we are very proud of its resemblance to a variety of scenes from the Harry Potter movies, which were clearly not on the mind of then Chancellor John Bowman when he came up with this idea. We've aspired for this space over a century ago and today to be the heart and soul of the building, and I think we can agree that what he started is absolutely what we've been able to enjoy and what we have today. There are 31 nationality rooms. I hope you all had a chance to take a look. They line the corridors on the first and third floor, and they're really exquisite for a host of reasons. They commemorate the cultural heritages of the communities who supported and planned the construction of the building. And importantly, they're incredible educational settings for our students. They are working classrooms, and not just of the subject matter of the place that honors the room. They take all sorts of classes in those rooms. And there's also a keepsake book about the nationality rooms in each of your chairs, which I hope you'll take a chance to look through later. So in this backdrop, and on behalf of the University of Pittsburgh, it's really a pleasure to host this first-of-its-kind collaboration between the GFCC's Global Innovation Summit and the Council on Competitiveness Conversations Across America series. It's a really important gathering and thematically tied to global thought leaders and subject matter experts so that we can advance the conversation around health, AI, and technology. And as both of my colleagues have described so aptly, vital conversations, both for our place-based strategy for innovation, but also in how we stay well, what could possibly be more important. At Pitt, we're very proud to be in leadership at the Life Sciences Century. At the forefront of this momentum is Pitt BioForge, which you'll learn more about over the course of the next couple of days. With the support of a $100 million gift from the R.K. Mellon Foundation, we're transforming a former steel mill site into a top-tier innovation destination. And this is where leading-edge breakthroughs in precision medicine will help cure cancer and other conditions. And then adding to this momentum are two recent AI and health-related partnerships with global leaders in AI. The first, which we did jointly and across Pittsburgh with Carnegie Mellon and many other aspects of the industry here, we were named an AI tech community by NVIDIA, which brings together industry and the public sector with the University of Pittsburgh and Carnegie Mellon's research strengths to create cutting-edge breakthroughs in AI across a variety of areas, including the health sciences. For example, in enhancing the accuracy of cancer diagnoses, in pathology, whole slide image assessment. I have a lot of health science experts and clinicians in the room, so I'll spare all of you the details since you know them all better than the rest of us. The second we're very excited about is between Vizzy and Pitt, and you'll hear more about this on Tuesday. So this was announced in May of this year, and this partnership leverages AI through a new platform called GainMed and is aimed at a better understanding of disease and health while also providing enhanced care and understanding of delivery of care and beyond. So these partnerships are not only driving and defining moments in delivery, cost of health care, quality of care, but amplify this region's distinction as a hotbed and epicenter of innovation. And over the next couple of days, we really look forward to sharing with you a place, a conversation, ideas, and things that advance all of our health, leveraging the best of the technology available to us. So in this spirit of possibility, I want to take a moment and recognize our students. They're what it's all about, but specifically the student musicians who are entertaining us tonight, who are over there. So first, we have Isaac Albrecht. He's a first-year student from Ithaca, New York. Isaac, raise your hand. Are you all going to stand up? Okay. So Isaac Albrecht is a first-year from Ithaca. He's majoring in linguistics and is planning to go to law school after graduation. Next is Walter Angel, second year planning to major in history and philosophy of science, very nice, and has a passion for jazz. And Peter Gold is a senior and mechanical engineering major from Philadelphia who's been playing jazz for 7 years. So thank you, Isaac, Walter, and Peter, for entertaining us tonight. You're fantastic.